How many of y'all have ever been in a power struggle with a kid or know someone who's been in a power struggle with a kid? Yes, most of you. Okay. Now, I'm gonna play one out real fast. And I'm going to play the role of both the kid and the teacher. And I just want to warn you before I do it that I'm going to take this to a little bit of an extreme. Well, for some of you. For some of you, it's not going to be an extreme because I've talked to you and I know what you do. But because I think kind of if you can handle the extreme, you can handle anything inside the extreme, right? So I'm going to play the role of the kid and the teacher. The kid usually starts off where? Seated, right? Teacher usually starts off where? Standing, right? And does it not go something like this? I don't even know what we're arguing about, but does it not go something like this? Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. Teacher last word before you ever came to my workshop and became a second to last word person. Teacher last word is usually what? Yeah. Kid, at least where I worked. Whatever, this class sucks anyway. Think I care? Dumbass bitches. You got a problem too? Say something. Say something. What? Sitting over here thinking you're all cool. You got a problem too? I hate you anyway, Mr. Mendler. What? And if you're lucky, they slam the door open and they leave, right? And what happens if you're not lucky? They stay, right? And they go one way and you go another. You guys, I was in Savannah, Georgia recently. Saw one of the worst things I've ever seen, right? So this kindergarten teacher tries to kick a kid out of class, right? She says, get out. He goes, nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm good. She says, I said get out. He says, I heard you, and I'm not leaving. And she reached for him, and she missed, and he started running around the room. And now some of you all seen 5-year-olds run around the room? They're fast. And I don't know, tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe your kids here, in Rochester City Schools are different than anywhere else I've ever been in the whole world. But when they ever get kicked out of class, do they ever go directly down to the principal's office? No, boy, I'm shocked. Where do they go? Everywhere else, right? They go to the lunchroom, and they go to the gym, and they find all the little hiding spots in your class. Half the time they come back by your room, and they're like, what up? Right? And eventually, administrators, tell me if I'm wrong, but eventually they make their way to your office. By the time they make your way to your office, tell me if I'm wrong. Do they not look something much more like this, generally? Morning. Regulars go right for their chairs, right? They're in there every day. They're pissed if someone's in their seat. They're like, dude, move, that's my seat. And they sit. And people always ask me, how come administrative secretaries and difficult kids are such good friends? Stop wondering. It's the two loneliest groups of people in a school. It is. So the kid's sitting there and the secretary is across from them. So the secretary's like, you again? And the kid's like, I know, but admit it, you don't like her either. I mean, your kids go to school here and they didn't even have her. You must hate her too, right? I mean, by the end of this thing, the kid's like, nah, I'm good. I don't need any coffee, right? I mean, these kids are good. It's what they do. And don't lie, administrators, because you tell me all the time. Every time I work in a school with the most challenging kid, all the administrators are always whispering in my ear, I don't get it. He's my favorite kid in the school. He's like my favorite. You don't even know. I don't know why everyone's got such a problem with him. He's the best. He's hilarious. Look at him. He's like 3 feet tall. And he's able to drive everyone crazy around here. And then, of course, the administrator calls me in, and it was always me when I was in school. And by the way, right now, I said I was going to hammer everyone. I'm about to equal opportunity hammer everyone, so no one's allowed to get offended. Sound good? But I'm going to start with administrators. I don't know, maybe this is why you all make the big money for the 2 incredibly brilliant questions that every single administrator in America asks every single kid who's standing in front of them. The first incredibly intelligent question is, what did you? And what does every kid in the whole world say back? But here's the really great follow-up question. Well, then why are you? Here. And what does every kid in the whole world say back? I don't know. I mean, she sent me here. I don't know. You know that lady. She's kind of nuts. She really is. And good administrators, you guys are able to get kids to take some responsibility for themselves, you know? So we might say, well, okay, well, fine. I did call her bitch, but she is one. She is one. You ever see how that lady talks to kids? She's so rude and so nasty and so mean. And my brother had her last year, and he said the same thing about her then. And my mom had her 48 years ago. Can't you guys find anybody younger? And again, teachers, your turn. Because I don't know what you all expect. What do you think? You think the principal's going to wave a magic wand and make the kid better? So almost always, where do they end up sending the kid? And after promising to be good for, I don't know, the rest of their lives, they come back to class looking something much more like this, do they not? I'm back! I'm back! Told you I'd be back! What's up, girl? What's up, girl? What's up, girl? Give me some love! Hi! How are you? Looking happier than ever. And now teachers, we're no longer pissed off at the kid. Who are we pissed off at? Why does that kid look like they had a freaking party in your office? Look, part of my job in this room is to entertain you today. But in school, this is serious business, man. These kids are good at getting administrators and teachers to hate each other. What an unbelievable amount of power that is for a kid. I can get these two grown adults to hate each other because of me. Power, control, attention, all the reasons kids misbehave. Look, administrators, I'm going to give you one little nugget of advice, and I'm not trying to tell you how to administrate because I was never one, but from a teacher perspective, I'm going to tell you one thing that helps us. Please, I am begging you, anytime you send a kid back to class, walk them back to the room. Stand in the door and make eye contact with the teacher so that we at least believe we're on the same page and we can avoid that whole production that the kid comes in with when he comes back. But I feel bad for administrators a lot of times too, because whose side of the story do they always hear first? The kid, and these kids are good. And then, of course, teachers, your incredibly well-written document comes in. On a referral form, right? And I don't know if you all still handwrite them, but if you do, you can feel the letters on the paper. And they all say the same thing. Disrespect. The L would go through 14 carbon copies. It would literally carve a hole in the desk. Uncooperative, rude. I'm waiting for the day where a teacher has the guts and courage to write the truth on a referral form. Because you know what the truth would say if you were just going to be blatantly honest, right? Wouldn't it say something like this? Somebody had to leave, and the contract said it couldn't be me, so I sent you her. But I'll take a 5-day suspension with pay. All right, I'll take 3. No, I'm just kidding. Like some of you are writing that down. Don't. Yeah, man, but isn't that true sometimes? Like sometimes don't you just need a break? Sometimes you need a break from a kid. Use each other, you guys. Use each other. I had a counselor that I used to work with named Mitch who we had a system set up between the two of us. No one else knew it. It was the book Old Yeller. You know the book Old Yeller? No idea why it was that book, but it was. Anytime a kid came from my classroom to his office with the book Old Yeller, it meant I needed a 15 to 20 minute break. Not mad at him. I don't want him in trouble. I don't want him to go to the office. I just need a break. And then there was this bright orange pass in my room. And the connotation was that strangulation thoughts were going through my mind. So hold them longer. And I'm telling you, no joke in my life, that oftentimes knowing I could use the pass made me not need to use the pass. Trade with each other, you guys. You just got to know each other's trade value. Like in sports. Like if I'm going to trade you 1, sometimes I got to take 3 back. Right? It's not often 1 for 1. Maybe it's 1 for 4. It's like my wife. You know, we were out at this fundraising thing for my kid's school. This was like 2 months ago, right? And we were having a good time. Everybody was happy, and we were just hanging out. And like there was another girl that we were friends with at the table, and she looks at my wife. She goes, oh man, it's like so cool to see, like you and Brian look like you're so close. How is that? And my wife didn't even hesitate. She's like, oh, he travels a lot. I'm like, what? And then she was like, well. And I'm like, no, well, nothing. And she was like, well, yeah, that's true. And she goes, well, a couple nights away is not the same thing as a divorce. Every once in a while, I need a couple nights away from you, right? A little break from my students doesn't mean it's a divorce, doesn't mean I don't care about them, doesn't mean don't want to work with them. It just means, well, every once in a while, I need a break. That's all it means. Help each other out, you guys. That's what team is. That's what the team should be for. Take each other's players once in a while, you know? I want to rewind real quick. Rewind backwards to yeah. That could have easily been diffused. Easily with a teacher who was interested in diffusing. And I'm going to tell you that's the first step in diffusing kids. My question always to every teacher is, do you want it? That's the first question I say. Are you interested in diffusing? Because I need to know that. Because if you're not, then who can help a person who doesn't want to be helped, right? It's like an addiction. The only way you can get better in addiction is to want to recover first. And once you want it, then people can teach you how to go about doing it.